Well, good morning to you, Zainab. Indeed, today is the day that every Kenyan, every resident of this republic is looking forward to, because the government will initiate the curfew, the nationwide curfew. And here in Mombasa, a few residents that we spoke to since yesterday, they are not ready for this. And of course, the security officials are maintaining that they will ensure that the security apparatus will be deployed across the region to ensure that everyone will be indoors by 7. Coast Regional Commissioner, coordinator, that is John Elungata, has already arrived here at the ferry. Remember, the crossing channel, this particular area is being a lot of people depend on the ferries to cross from the island to the mainland. And of course, as you can see, those are that ferry, there are people from the mainland coming to Mombasa, and it's a bit of a challenge again to try and to have them, to practice the social distancing, because yesterday we even saw the law enforcement officers tried to force some of the commuters in the evening to adhere to the regulation, but a few of them actually caused a stampede here and even began hurling stones, and they had to force their way into the vessels, and but the authorities allowed them yesterday. They even vandalized some of the property here at the ferry. But as at now, I can see that adequate security officers, the GSU officers, are already here, the rapid deployment unit officers are already here, and of course also with the Coast General, the Coast Guard services. I've seen the Director General for the KCGS, Naisho Lonena, together with the Coast Regional Coordinator, John Elungata. They have boarded one of the ferries to go to the other side of the channel, that is in Likoni, to see how the situation is there, because the masses are coming from that other side. And of course also, Zainab, what is also important to note is that all the public service vehicles have been withdrawn from the channel, and of course now the commuters, the ferry commuters for that matter, will have to walk for more than a kilometer for them to get public transportation. And of course that is what the authorities say will happen from now henceforth, so as to ensure that they decongest the channel. It is also worth to note that with the current situation, it is raining. We don't know what some of the regulations that the authorities will use to ensure that they contain situation. Remember, the coast region is somehow becoming a hotspot. Yesterday, the government under the Ministry of Health confirmed 2 more cases from Kilifi County, the patients who tested positive for COVID-19, and the county governments in this region are initiating or instituting different measures to contain the spread of the deadly virus. But of the key concern is here at the crossing channel. As you can see, hundreds and hundreds of people are daily operating and crossing at this channel. That particular ferry, MV Likoni, as you can see, for instance, as at yesterday, the plans that were being put in place, the numbers are supposed to be even less than what you're seeing on your screen, because according to what we saw yesterday, the commuters are supposed to be standing a meter away while on board the ferry. And again, also the authorities had vowed not to allow anyone on board, anyone without the face masks or any piece of clothing to cover their mouth. But what you can see is that a majority of commuters there do not even have face masks, and of course I don't know why for that matter. But what I can see on board MV Likoni, for instance, I can see the officers from the Coast Guard, Kenya Coast Guard Services, they are on board, and I'm sure that the Coast Regional Coordinator is trying to perhaps maybe coordinate and see how some of those measures will be implemented. Some of the leaders from the area have of course called upon the authorities to ensure that even if today the curfew will be marked. Remember, the coordinator John Elungata yesterday, who leads the security, who chairs the security committee in the coast region, the entire coast region, urged members of the public not to plan their travels, because all the ferries will be withdrawn from as early as 6 p.m. and that means that all the commuters will have to either cancel their plans very early and have to find their way, because 3 ferries will be available for pedestrians. That is MV Likoni, MV Kwale and MV Jambo. MV Kilindini has been set aside for motorists and vehicles that will be crossing the channel. And remember, this time right now is the peak hour, and hundreds of commuters from both sides of the channel are depending on these crucial and essential services to go up and about their daily duties. But again, to reiterate what the health authorities and the law enforcement have been campaigning, or rather advocating for, is for the residents to stay at home, because the coronavirus pandemic is a disease that is continuously spreading, and as of yesterday we had the government confirm the first person who died of the virus. And of course, also, as I said, the health authorities from across the region are working with the national government and the Ministry of Health to ensure that every measure that they are putting in place will of course protect the citizens from contracting the virus. But again, as I said, there's a laxity in terms when it comes to residents adhering to some of these set regulations and protocols to curb the spread of the virus. It is a big challenge that of course we've seen also the law enforcement experiencing with some of these commuters, some of whom are against the social distancing rule while aboard the ferry. But we don't know from now henceforth. I've seen all the police bosses, top police bosses in the region are here, and we don't know what plans they have, but I'm sure that they will be speaking to the press to just outlay and give us proper guidelines of how they plan to execute the measures coming. I mean, considering that today is from 7 p.m. today, the curfew, the nationwide curfew will be instituted from all over the country, and here in the coast region, it is a concern that of course also we are expecting to see some of the crucial services such as the standard gauge railway to be affected, because there's a train that normally departs from Nairobi at around 3 o'clock. That is in the afternoon, and normally arrives in Mombasa at around 8 o'clock. That is, remember, that is an hour past the stipulated curfew time. And of course, the law enforcement are urging members of the public to plan their journeys and seek alternative transportation means to ensure that they do not find themselves in the wrong side of the law. This, I'm sure, it is the first time for some of the residents to encounter curfew, but of course the government maintaining that it will even institute even stringent measures to ensure that everybody adhere to the regulations in the fight against the spread of COVID-19. So we are here at the channel, and of course we'll be traversing various places across the county. We'll be speaking to the health authorities to also understand some of the measures, the numbers of people who are currently in isolation, because I believe from yesterday we had that the numbers from what we reported earlier is that we had at least 62 people in isolation, but we are also receiving information that the numbers are going up, and of course I believe the health authorities will of course be relaying that information to us, and in case of any other incident, then of course the Ministry of Health will definitely give a confirmation to Kenyans as what, and of course also what the government is doing to ensure that they keep the virus at bay. So from here in Mombasa, Zainab, we are following up on various issues from across all the counties, all the way from Lamu, Tana River, here in Mombasa, Kwale, Taita, Taveta, all the counties from the coastal region will definitely have every information and how residents are planning, or rather preparing themselves ahead of the nationwide curfew beginning at 7 p.m. tonight. Back to you, Zainab.